Hi, welcome to my channel. I'm Melissa and this is my channel Learning to Love Me. And today I'm going to be talking about my codependent recovery. And this will be the first, and I'm going to try to keep this video short because I could talk for literally hours about this subject. And so here we go. So in 2016, in January, this time of year, I was a women's ministry director at a local church, and God had just really anointed me and filled me with so much passion and vision, and the ministry was growing and was amazing. You know, but He was calling me to do things a bit differently than typical mainstream Christian women's ministry, but that was really my passion, is to teach women how to love themselves and just to plug into the source. And well, anyway, ultimately I got fired from that position, and it was devastating. And I had seen the same thing happen to others, so I didn't take that part super personal. That really didn't devastate me. Losing the ministry was pretty devastating, but what was to happen next was that out of the 200 plus women, and 15 being on my committee and 5 being close intimate friends, I was left with 2 friends that would talk to me. The pastor did launch a big campaign against my character, and you know, that was difficult. I not only lost my church and all my friends, but I lost my community, and I lost part of my faith, because I thought, well, you know, why would God fill me with so much vision and passion and not protect that ministry and me? And I really wallowed in that hurt for quite a while, and then I got to a place where I was so bitter and so discouraged and had really let go of my faith that I had to ask the question, why did that shatter me? And I began to open my heart up to the Lord again and pray and ask. And I don't really want to make this about my faith, because I don't want to turn anyone off. But all I can say is, when I ask God to show me what's going on, He is always so faithful to do so. And when I ask Him to provide help, He does. And that's what I'm so excited about. So I began to just say, you know, why did that shatter me so bad? And the word codependent kind of popped into my head, and before I knew it, it was everywhere. I'd turn on the TV, I'd get a new magazine, excuse my finger, and there it is. And so I thought I kind of knew what codependency was, and so I decided to Google it. So I did. And I Googled it, and there was a YouTube video that popped up by A Romano, and I will leave you a link to her YouTube. She's got a great interactive website as well. But she's basically a life coach, and she specializes in helping people recover from their childhood programming. And that may be a new term that you've never heard before, and I could go off and talk about that for hours as well. But when we're children, we're not fully aware of everything going on. We're kind of like little tape recorders, and our family life, the things that we experience from birth, maybe even before we're born in utero, in our mommy's tummies, the stress that we sense. And up until about 12, we're just recording, and we're learning how life works. And our parents are our programmers. You know, they create that narrative in our head, and it can be good or it can be faulty. And, you know, it can also be that narrative, that programming can be influenced by teachers, by peers. But that's her mission in life, is helping people recover from this codependency. And so I really connected with her lectures, and She's got some great books, Road Back to Me. I think she just launched a new book. She does have a program that you can check out on her website, but I'll leave links to everything. And I have to say, I mean, it's a really big statement, but she saved my life. And she exposed me to some other people, Bruce Lipton, which really, he talks about the program or the faulty narratives that are downloaded into us that subconsciously play out whether we want them to or not in our lives. But he talks about how you can change those and actually what the effects of those things are on our bodies. And so I've learned a lot from him. He's written the book, The Biology of Belief. So basically whatever you believe, your body, your mind, your life, whatever you believe. So like if you feel completely fine and you go to the doctor and they say, oh, you've got cancer, you suddenly feel sick. If you believe that cancer is going to take you down, then it will. If you believe that you're not going to let it, then there's a higher chance that you'll survive. So that's kind of his message in a nutshell, and I'm sure I've done a disservice to Bruce Lipton and Lisa A. Romano trying to explain what their passions are, but that's my interpretation. And then there's been others, when I would begin like I was turning a corner and I wanted more, there was always more. So another person that Lisa exposed me to was Rosenberg, and I really enjoy listening to his lectures. And he focuses on, the codependency, but also how that codependency, we will tend to attract a lot of narcissists into our lives. And so he's been a really integral part of my healing as well. So he's written The Human Magnet Syndrome, and I'm sorry I don't have the other two authors' books at my fingertips. I've loaned them out, but this is really good, and it explains why it is that if you're codependent, or as he terms it, self-love deficit disorder, which ultimately codependency is a deficit of loving yourself. It's needing, and Lisa explains it as, needing to seek validation outside yourself. Needing other people to validate who you are. And of course, if you're codependent, you take on this persona that you're there to serve and help other people. And we're not serving anyone well if we don't love ourselves. And sorry if I quote scripture here, but one of the greatest commandments is to love your neighbor as yourself. And I truly do not believe that we can adequately love anyone the way they deserve if we don't love ourselves. And I know that I have experienced in my lifetime, in my own self, not being able to receive love from people when I don't love myself. And so it's a long journey, and I'm already at 8 minutes. So that's the beginning. I have so much to share on this topic, but the first step in recovering from codependency is learning to love yourself. And so what I would do was, the first thing I felt like I had to do was to get those ruminating toxic thoughts out of my head. Well, I couldn't focus on getting them out. I wasn't successful with doing that. So what I did was I decided that if I was constantly muttering under my breath that I am enough, that took me concentrating on that, and I couldn't think about what I wasn't. And so literally for 2 months, I might have looked insane. And if I was home, I sometimes was screaming it, I am enough, I am enough. I'd go to the pool and I'd be singing, I am enough, I am enough. And when those dark thoughts would try to come in that I wasn't enough or didn't have enough, I'd say, I am enough. And then I eventually would graduate to, I am enough. My husband is enough. My kids are enough. My home is enough. I have all that I need. I have been enough of a mother. If there's any lessons I haven't taught my kids, if they need them, they'll learn them on their own. My kids are adults now. So, I just focused on that. And slowly I began, I'd look in the mirror and I go, okay, I am enough. And then I started taking more and more and more responsibility for myself. And so that was the first stage. And then journaling. For me, it works really well if I've had a heartache or a disappointment or I'm not trusting how I'm feeling. I get my journal out and I write down how I'm feeling. And for me, it's a letting go. Like, sometimes I journal as if I'm talking to myself or I'm talking to God or I'm just releasing. And that has been a really super healing modality for me. And Lisa talks about it, and I'll try to find one of her talks where she's actually talking about journaling and link that as well. But there we go. I did it. My first video on codependent recovery. It's a long journey, and I'll talk more about the codependency and why we attract narcissists in the next video. If you enjoy my videos and you want to follow me, then go ahead and subscribe. Touch the little bell thing so that you get notified of when I post a new video. But I do believe that the next few are going to be on this codependent recovery, learning to love ourselves. Thank you for watching. I so appreciate it. Have a wonderful day. Bye.